Mga higala, kumusta? Welcome to another episode of the Chyrel Macale Cariaga Show. We are live at Digital TV Channel 51, simulcast Parasat, Jade Cable TV, that is Channel 27, 28, and 29. And we're also live at MINDANAO DEARBC Cable, that is Channel 19, Channel 2. And of course, we're also live at Facebook page, Live Jao TV 51 Official. And you can also see us live at YouTube channel, Jao TV 51_ Official. The Department of Labor and Employment on Monday announced its Regional Tripartite Wages and Productivity Board, or RTWPB, has approved a minimum wage hike in Region 10 in northern Mindanao. Labor Secretary Sylvester Bello III said minimum wage earners and domestic workers in the region will benefit from the wage increase. In Wage Order RX-10, the RTWPB Northern Mindanao granted a pay hike of 25 pesos upon its effectivity date and another 15 pesos to 22 pesos effective December 16, 2022. Bello said that the previous wage order for workers in private establishment took effect on November 1, 2018, while the wage order for domestic workers took effect on January 1, 2020. He explained that the new minimum wage rates in the cities of Cagayan de Oro, Iligan, Malaybalay City, Valencia City, Hingoog City, El Salvador City, and Osamis, and the municipalities of Tagoloan, Villanueva, Hasaan, Upol, Maramag, Quezon City, or Quezon Bukidnon, Manolo Fertich, Lugait are 405 pesos for the non-agriculture sector and 393 of the agriculture sector after the implementation of the wages charges. Now, ladies and gentlemen, please welcome on the studio today are, of course, the members of the board of the RTWPB, starting with our distinguished guest, of course, one of the chairmen, and of course, one of the board, ladies and gentlemen, Bernie Salinas of DOLE, and also we have, of course, the board secretary of 4 or 6 of RTWPB, ladies and gentlemen. Please welcome Attorney Maria Verhal B. Walag. Hello, Attorney. How are you this morning?
Yes, ma'am. Hello, good morning, Ma'am Chai. Thank you for having us here in your show.
Okay, so now the first question is, who is the composition of the board, and who are these people composing of the board, and how did you come up with the 47 increase of the wage increase for the wage order? But specifically, we have to explain that there are 2 tranches. One is on the 25 pesos increase effective on June 18, and another one is on December 22. So how was this compromise? How did the RTWB compromised in having this decision under this wage order number?
Okay, ma'am. Composition of the board. So we are tripartite in nature, meaning there are 3 sectors composing the board. First, we have a representative from the government. Representing the government are the 3 regional directors coming from DOLE, is in the name of Director Albert E. Goodhip. The second is we have NEDA, so our vice chairperson, Director Myla Faye Arroga Carreño. And another from the government sector is from DTI, Director Emergio J. Abang. So that's for the And second, from the labor sector sitting right now, as we have Engineer Milbert M. Macarambon, representing Awato TUCP, and we have a vacant, actually, one vacant
Position
since our former BM, Mr. Nicandro Borja, has resigned. And for the management sector, sitting right now is we have Mr. Arsenio Sebastian III. And we have also a vacant position for the management sector because formerly Reverend Prudencio Plaza has also resigned. So as of now, there are 5 sitting members of the board. And second question, how does the board came up with the increase? In its entirety, the board has to look at into the different criteria of wage fixing under RA 6727, such as the capacity of the employers to pay the need of workers and its families, the inflation rate. We have also to check the poverty threshold in the region, and we have also to check on the different wage levels of the other regions having similar economics to Region 10, and a lot of other factors being looked into. So the board, in coming up with the increase, there is no hard and fast rule, no fixed formula, and the board has to decide balancing the interest of labor and the capital. So we also this decision of the board is also aligned with the policy of the Commission to
Correct.
simplify the wage structure, noting that effective December 16, we have only 2 categories. From 4, it is reduced into 2. So as to the amount of increase from wage category 1, 2, 3, and 4, as you can see in the table, effective June 18, all categories will be having a 25 pesos wage increase.
Okay.
Then, on the second part, on December 16, a wage category 1 and 3 will be having its 15 pesos wage increase, and 2 and 4 will be having a 20 pesos wage increase. So, the implementation of the wage increases will be given in 2 tranches.
Okay, that's good. So this is a very interesting conversation, and of course a discussion today that a lot of the people and our viewers will be benefiting from this discussion. But in the meantime, ladies and gentlemen, we'll be pausing for a quick break. Stay close, we'll be coming right back.
Hello mga kadyaw! Ni ay mga simple nga mga pamaagi aron makalikay kita sa COVID-19. Manghugas kanunay sa kamot gamit ang sabon ug tubig. Kung walay tubig ug sabon, mag-alkohol. Magsuot kita pirmi og face mask ug face shield kung mugawas sa balay. Ilabi na kung anaa kita sa mga pampubliko nga lugar. Kung walay importante nga tuyo, magpuyo lang usa kita sa balay. Kung mahimo, wala usay pasudlon nga mga bisita. Kanunay mag-obserba og social distancing. Wala usay maglamanuhay og beso-beso kung makita nimo ang imong suod nga higala. Kini nga mga pahimangno, hatod kaninyo sa Jaw TV. Amping mga kadyaw!
And we are back. Time check right now is 22 minutes after 9 o'clock. Of course, we are still on the Chyrel Macale Cariaga show. This time, this very morning, ladies and gentlemen, it's a very interesting and, of course, a heated conversation and a discussion with the wage order that has been passed now. And, of course, everybody's excited about this. There's a lot of workers out there wanting to understand why this changes has been made. And it's been a long overdue that a lot of people have been expecting this wage increase in the span of a lot of years. Now this year, it has been approved and it's been going to be implemented on June 18 and of course another tranche on December 22, which is not a bad thing to accept because 47 pesos wage increase is a lot for our workers. Right, Attorney?
Yes, that's right, Ma'am. The board, as previously discussed, we have to balance the interest of labor and capital, and the amount of increase ranging from 44 to 47 is what the board believed to be a reasonable amount to be given as wage increase, considering that it has been almost 3 years since the board issued its last wage order in 2018.
Okay, now let's discuss this because I know that you are a separate agency under the DOLE or the Department of Labor and Employment. So what does the RTWPB do? And what is your function under this bracket, and what do you need to do for able to reach out and have some compromise with our employers and of course our employees that they will come to terms and understand why we need changes and why do we implement these changes?
Okay. First and foremost, the Regional Tripartite Wages and Productivity Board is an attached agency of the Department of Labor and
Yes.
Employment created under Republic Act 6727 or the Wage Rationalization Act enacted on July 1 of 1989. We have basically two mandates. The first one is we are the agency mandated by law to fix the regional minimum wages in the region. That's why we are issuing wage orders both for the regular workers and the domestic workers. And second, as an agency also that mandated to promote productivity training programs to workers and enterprises. So basically we have two twin mandates summarized as a wage fixing function and the promotion of productivity training programs to micro, small, and medium enterprises.
Okay, that's great. And then RTWPB plays a very big role in this changes, and of course that we have come up with this this wage increase order that everybody has been waiting for the longest time. Now, we have experienced the pandemic for the last 2 years, and it has been affecting all of our SMEs, our establishments, and of course, some of the institutions that actually brings a lot of income to the city. And the city has been devastated by this because the pandemic has affected the economy so much. Now, how do you think and why do you think that it has taken so long for you guys to decide this wage hike right now?
Okay, as a general rule, no, the wage order being issued by the board shall not be disturbed for a period of 1 year. So in 2018, that will be that would stand for 1 year. So in 2019, actually, to tell you, in 2020, before the pandemic strikes, the board actually initiated in February of 2020 to initiate a review of the wage order. So we are now checking on the wage order since it's already lapsed its anniversary date. We are initiating. However, as you can remember, in March of 2020, the pandemic strikes and the president declared a lockdown on March 17 or 18.
Right.
So at that time, the board also has to be circumspect, no, whether or not to commence the process. Then we have to check what's happening. So for the period for around 2 years, we have to check. A lot of reports had been circulating and even reported to Dole that a lot of enterprises have been badly or severely affected by the pandemic. So the
Right.
board also has to check on that, the socioeconomic conditions
Indicators.
in our region. Of course, we have to be aware of what's happening, no, both for the workers and the labor, and everybody is affected by the pandemic.
Now, Attorney, I understand now that there is a big compromise between the employers and, of course, the workers because it is expected if there is a wage increase, the employers has to approve on this that they can really afford these changes. Because if they cannot, the economy is still dying, and if they're not really recuperating from the loss, how can they afford this wage hike? But now that we are in level 1, this is a perfect timing for everyone to really, understand that it is really a need for all of us to give them the long overdue of this wage hike. And it's very vital for everybody that the economy is actually also striving to even survive from these losses. And then aside from this one, the oil price hike is really intense right now with the world market has been affecting our economy as well. And number 2, the commodities, so the prices of the economic commodities are also affecting a lot of workers. Now, given this circumstance, I already asked you this question because recently we had a press conference, but then is this enough for everyone to really survive on? Because first of all, number 1, the worker has to survive in the minimum of paying the travel expenses and the food expenses and all this. How much does an employee, in average, will be able to save some for able to give to his family and even survive on that minimal cost? So now, Attorney, with this 47 increase, did the employer had approved on this? So do you think the economy is as in region, our economy is rising a little bit?
Yes, before the board approves the increase, we have to check on the different data. Okay, one of the data being presented is the slow, what I mean is the economy showing recovery.
Okay.
Increases businesses and investment in Region 10 as presented by our Vice Chair, Ma'am Neda,
Okay.
shows that there are investments coming in. The tax, even the tax collection of Region 10 is increasing.
Okay.
So it shows that there is really the economy is slowly recovering, not to the full extent, but slowly. There is an increase in investment, the number of businesses being registered. So people are saying that the increase is not enough, but based also on the poverty threshold being released by the PSA, since the board will base its data also on the PSA, the amount of the regional poverty threshold in 2018, that's the poverty threshold that the board is looking into, is we need to close the gap. And as you can see, all our wage rates now are already above the poverty threshold.
Okay, so not bad for 47 pesos, but on the sense of on the deciding body as well as the board, how long did it take you guys to understand that this is what has been decided and 47 pesos is enough?
We base that on the data that being presented. Sometimes when you say enough, that's a very relative question, because imagine even if we raise the minimum wage to that, for example, 500, a lot of people will only say that, oh, it's not yet enough. So one should live within the means, you know. It depends on your lifestyle, but based on the data that we are basing, the amount that given by the board is within the amount.
Or the bracket as
or
decided.
the bracket
Okay.
as decided by the
All right,
board.
thank you very much. Another question, Attorney Virgil, or Maria, how do you call it? Maria Virgil?
Virgil.
Because everybody's calling you what people normally calls you. But the thing is, another question, Attorney, is that we should also understand that at this point that we're already on level 1. You know, we're very pleased and we're very happy that a lot of malls are actually in full blast. And even the SMEs that we have right now is slowly operating. And, you know, it was in the last 2 years, there was a capacity that has been submerged in the presence of the percentages, like it has to be 40%, then 70%, and now it's 100% capacity, which is one of the great things that we allow our people in Northern Mindanao to experience, you know, what normalcy is, but we cannot have the normalcy because this is the new normal now that we are experiencing. So in the span of time, there were a lot of confusion, Attorney, actually, because it was stated that the Department of Labor and Employment and RTWPB released, you know, within the announcement of 25 pesos. So everybody was like, what? 25 pesos? Why 25 pesos only? And then we did not explain to them that it is 47 pesos, but divided into two tranches. So people are so confused, and we were bombarded with a lot of questions. Even the media has to explain. But the thing, it was a good thing that there was a press conference to clear the air, and that RTWPB has given us our job and responsibility to explain that not only is it's 25 pesos increase, but it's 47 pesos increase. So that's a good thing. So people would like to know that this is actually a good number for all of us to really, you know, expect. Although in a matter of months, that it will be transitioned to another tranche, but we all have to be patient about that, because we also have to consider the employer side, that they cannot afford on a one-way ticket that they're going to actually give the 47 peso increase right away. Now, when this means it is positive for people to, you were right, like it depends on how you actually live by your means, because some people have a very you know, different lifestyle. But then at 47 pesos increase, and expected that you will have a good Christmas on December, at least you will have another increase. So that's one good thing. Now, the RTWPB has done its job. The reason why we're doing this show, because we wanted everybody to understand that the government is at work, and that the government is not just sitting down, you know, like trying to hitting all of their chairs, doing nothing, burning candles all day, but doing nothing, you know. But we have to explain to the public that the government is working for you. Now, understanding these things, RTWPB has what have you accomplished so far in the last few years? I know there were a lot of challenges by the pandemic times in the last 2 years. So, what were the challenges of the RTWPB has seen, and what were the issues brought to your table?
Okay, for the last 2 years, when the pandemic strikes, the RTWPB continues to deliver our services, particularly in the provision of our different training programs. Aside from wage fixing, we also have different productivity training programs available to the public. So we upgraded, we had our Zoom subscription because we need to deliver it via Zoom. Before, we used to deliver it face-to-face. But because of the pandemic, limited capacity, limited interaction with people, we still need to continue to deliver our services to the people through the provision of the different productivity training programs. So a lot of companies also are requesting, they send your letter request to our office. And if no letter request, we schedule a different productivity training programs to be delivered to the public. In fact, in 2020, we have our upgraded module as a new module on business continuity planning. That's because of the pandemic. We need to have a new module to teach businesses how to develop your own continuity plan.
Okay.
And aside from that, we also upgraded our module, like from 5S to 7S, to incorporate the element of safety in the workplace. You know, incorporating the DTI DOLE memorandum protocol on the COVID-19. So we have a lot of training modules have been upgraded. From another training module is on service quality, because service quality is for the service sector, particularly in the tourism industry, hotels and restaurants. Then we created another module, upgrading it into a service quality, building a pandemic-proof service quality, and a lot more that the board continues to deliver, not just wage fixing.
Now, see, everybody is not understanding now what the RTWPB does in its job in rendering the service complete, full dedication. Of course, determination that everybody is to accept and give this educational information that enable them to actually succeed on their businesses. And then we should understand that RTWPB is an ally, your ally, and not your enemy. So all you have to do is just. But attorney, I wanted to ask you, how did you cascade all this information? How was the feedback by our SMEs in order for them to get these programs?
Okay, we're still scheduling a wage clinic and information drive relative to the issuance of wage order number RX21 and domestic worker wage order number RBXDW03. We'll be cascading this one through wage clinics by province.
Okay.
So we'll be starting to roll out the schedule on Monday.
And I think the media plays a very important role on this, because we should help you disseminate the information and give you, the benefit of announcing all of this information. So anytime you can actually give us all the information and we'll announce it for you. But in the meantime, attorney, let's discuss about some of the SMEs and the employers are actually demanding for an IRR. And then I know this is a very big discussion for you, because this has been decided in the central office and what needed to do. But first, let us discuss that there are some of the laws under the IRR that has been reviewed by the central office and, of course, the body of the RTWPB, that should be implemented or not to be implemented, which benefits everybody, and decided that it has to be amended. So therefore, and then there were a lot of SMEs and operators or the businesses had been clamoring for this IRR. And then what was the explanation? Because I know that they demanded this IRR. So what are the changes made by this?
Okay, this new wage order RX-20, the board no longer issues the implementing rules and regulation. Upon review by the Commission issued NWPC Guidelines Number 3, Series of 2020, otherwise known as the Omnibus Rules on Wage Determination, in which the Commission reviews that the board may no longer issue, or the board is not required to issue the implementing rules and regulations. However, a lot of people are asking from us, what is our reference? How do we check on the details of the wage orders being issued? So the Commission informed us that the public or the company may refer to the law itself creating RTWPB, the RA 6727, and its implementing rules and regulations. They can also refer to NWPC Guidelines Number 3, Series of 2020, or the Omnibus Rules on Wage Determination. So there are other wage-related laws. But not to worry about this, because during our wage clinic, we will be discussing in detail.
Okay, that's good. That's
the
good.
provisions that the public needs to know, because as you understand, our wage order only has 3 pages, and not all provisions there are being discussed. But we will be discussing in details during the wage order the questions that they need to ask, the things that they need to know, and some other details in the implementation of the wage order.
And of course,
we're always ready to assist them to answer questions.
Actually, that's a very good thing to do, explaining these matters to them, because some are actually being explained, therefore, in the paper will not be understood differently as you explain it in a manner of communication. Because communicating, especially when you're trying to discuss things personally to them, they might be able to interact and ask questions, and will be given the answers thoroughly with their questions.
Yes.
That's a good thing. So thank you, Attorney. I know that you wanted to clear it on the air, because these were things that were not discussed on the press cons. Now, moving on, we would like to discuss furthermore about this cascading of information that we needed to do, and I know that you're going to have a very big job to do in the entire region. And how are you able to cascade this, especially how many personnel does RTWPB had? Now, is it virtual? Is it, are you visiting all of the provinces also for them to be gathered, and all of the SMEs or the operators and the businesses and the workers as well will be in one conference? How do you do this?
We do it blended. So there are times that we're gonna do it via online. There are also times that we're gonna need to travel to a particular region, I mean particular province and region 10 to cascade. We have this coming June 13, we receive a letter invitation from Kohara, so I will be discussing to them via Zoom the details of our wage order, particularly on the rules on wage distortion and exemption requirements. So, and we will just be posting our schedule for the wage clinics. So the board has to decide we can use the blended face-to-face or fully virtual. It depends on the situation and upon the request.
Okay. Now, this SMEs, there was a question thrown to us, and I know that it's been asked through a press conference, but I will ask it again so that people will see us and understand if and foremost these employers and these institutions who refuses to, of course, implement this wage order, which has been implemented on June 18 and another tranche on December 16 on 2022 of this year. If these employers will refuse to actually give this benefit for the increase of the employees, what is the penalty for the employers if in case they will not implement this?
Okay. The penal provision applicable for this is Republic on 8188, under which it states that any person, trust, corporation, or company refuses to give the prescribed increase, they may be penalized by a fine of not less than 25, not more than 100,000, or imprisonment of not less than 2 years, not more than 4 years, or both at the discretion of the court. So that's the penal provision for those companies, corporations who will be refusing to implement the prescribed increase under the wage order.
Now, there is an exemption also that I understood, that if you have an employee is under 10 employees, there is an exception to apply the rule. And what are these provisions for that?
Okay, for retail and service establishments employing not more than 10, they can apply for exemption. So we will just communicate to them the details, but the primary consideration is if it is a retail or service establishment engaged in the sale of goods and services for personal or household consumption, then they can apply. So meaning not all establishments can apply, limited only to service and retail establishments. Then they have also to pass some documentary requirements, like they have to execute an affidavit stating there the number of employees, of course, and the notification that they have made to their workers, stating that they have applied, and they have also need to state there that they are compliant with the previous wage orders. And lastly, they have to state in your affidavit that in case the application for wage exemption is denied, then they have to pay the amount of increase plus 1% penalty per month reckoned from the effectivity of the wage order. And the board may require also the submission of all other documentary requirements, such as the certificate of no pending case, and some other requirements may be required by the board to ascertain the veracity of the application for wage exemption, because it is not just an easy exemption that anybody can file. They need also to comply with the criteria and the requirements set forth by the omnibus rules on wage
Very much explained as well. Very well said, attorney. And now let's go to another wage orders. Then we have to discuss this because it is also vital for everybody to understand that there is changes, also an increase on the domestic department. So we're talking about kung magturyagal itag domestic, no? This includes about atong mga helper sa balay, atong mga cook, atong mga gardener, atong mga labandera. They are also a part of the society that composes our economic crews. But in this spectrum, atong i-discuss na magbisaya lang siguro to ni attorney kay there might be some of them na dili pud makasabot sa atong when we speak English. Kay medyo murag slang na kahit ano when in the discussions, which I like. But the thing is, daghan man pud sad tamino atong mga televiewers karon nga wanted to understand in a layman's term. Not na dili sila kasabot og English, but we were trying to explain this in a matter of way na ato ma-explain one by one unsa ka importante ni ato mga domestic nga mga help, no? Dili mo, you are not being excluded in our discussion, but it's very important na makabalusad mo nga importante pod mo sa RTWPB because you are considered as our economic ally, no? Siyempre, sa tamanarbaw, kinsa mabilinan nato sa balay, kinsa may magluto, kinsa may magbantay sa atong mga bata, kinsa may manglabas sa atong mga senior, especially the working moms. And it's very, very important na sila sa matagaan sa og tipik sa atong mga pagtuki, no? Kung unsa man ang atong mga gikinahanglan diskussan. Now, let's announce, no, kung unsay maayong balita para sa atong mga domestic help. So, attorney, please explain layman's term, dili na ta mag-English kay para maka-expound gito og maayo nga maasabtan pud sa atong mga kauban.
Okay. So, natay maayong balita sa atong mga domestic workers. So, sa atong mga kasambahay or katabang dinhi sa Rehiyon Jess. Nagpagawas ang RTWPB, ang among opisina og usbaw nga suhulan nga 500 pesos nga wage increase. So, sa kasambahay, ato lang state nga nalatay duha ka kategorya. Ang first one, katong naa sa mga cities og first class municipalities.
Okay.
Nga sa una, ang ilahang sweldo, 4,000. So, nagpagawas tag usbaw nga suhulan nga 500, nahimo na silang 4,500.
Okay.
Okay. Then sa katong mga kasambahay nga nanarbaho nga to sa all other areas. Nga dili sila dito sa cities or dili sila sa first class municipalities, 3,000 kani adto. Kitagaan natog 500 nga interest, nahimo na silang 3,500. So I hope kini nga increase mahimo ni siyang malipay ang uban, no? Kay although nakahibaw man ta by market study nga base sa among pagtuki nga daghan gihapon nga kasambahay nga taas na ang ilahang suhulan. Pero
in fact, I've heard na ay 6,000 na.
Yes, tinuod na.
Pero depending na siguro din sa atong employer, no, kung galante ra kay atong mga employer na nga muhatag yun og 6,000 kay nakita sa nila ang performance evaluation, no, gikan sa pag-assess nila sa ilang empleyado nga maay pud mo trabaho, always na sa balay, dili pud mo absent, di pa jud ma-late, no, na kana nga mga mga basihan nganong ang employer galante sa atong mga kasambahay because they become a part of the family nga kanang maayo na ang relasyon sa mga bata nya palangga sa mga bata. Syempre maluoy pud tano because they have established a relationship within the family. So that's one good thing. Now attorney, kani bang atong gipangutana man kini sa atong press con no nga what if kani ang mga labanderos or something, they're not regulars, like they don't do washing clothes in every day, no? Sometimes twice a week, thrice a week. So, unsa may status ani attorney? How is this going to be applied to them with this 500 pesos increase?
Okay, pag-abot sa kasambahay, ato lang iklaro nga na mga exclusions. Isa dito gi-exclude nga kato mga person nga ga-render og service on sporadic. So, talagsaon na ka sila. Like, for example, ikaw nakuha kag laundryman or laundry person nga nagpalabara ka isa sa isa ka simana.
Or a gardener.
Or
Dili
a
man ako
gardener.
kinahanglan ni mga gardener every day.
Dili man kinahanglan everyday.
Oh.
So, gitanaw sa balaod nga kung sporadic ka or talagsaon ka or imong naka-date time nga mo engage sa mga hinahanglan ta silang services, dili sila makasified as
I
kasambahay.
see.
So tanaw na mo case to case basis kay
I
naay uban
see.
nga mahimo namang regular kay kaupat na sa isa ka semana, di ba? Napuy uban nga kas-alang sa isa ka bulan. So I believe katong kas-alang sa isa ka bulan, dili to siya covered sa kasambahay. Mo kag mahitabo magud sila nga independent contractor on your own.
On the first place, like for example, that explanation na every other day. O kung every other day siya, so medyo every other day, medyo taas ang iyang rendition sa iyang service within a week. So, that's already considered as kasambahay under the category sa wage order nga atong ginadiskutan karon.
Kaya ang atong kasambahay ga-cover, magyapon na siya sa live-in o live-out arrangement.
I see.
So, dili lang ingon nga kato exclusive lang nga katong nagpuyo sa ato live-in. Pwede po ka ng live-out nga i-engage ninyo sila.
Okay, let's clarify, no? There are classifications, no? Number one, dili appeal dinhi ang mga driver.
Yes,
okay.
Correct. That's right.
Kay naay mga special arrangements nga within the family and of course the employer and employee arrangement.
Yes. Dili appeal din hiyang atong mga family drivers. Iklaro lang nato nga nagpagawas og resolution ang NWPC number 3 series of 2020 stating nga ang sweldo sa atong mga family drivers is governed by the agreement between sa family driver ug sa household pursuant nga kung asa sila nag trabaho. So governed by the civil code, mao na mo govern sa atong mga family drivers. Excluded sa dinhi atong mga service providers wa sad nailabot dili po sila kasambahay o katong mga children under foster family arrangement. Dili sad na ma-appeal.
Attorney, let us clarify this because under this category, of course, the employer also have to render submit good sila sa ilang mga contributions. Number one, kini atong mga insurances like PhilHealth or SSS. Dili pwede na masiro ni, no? Kay you are being required by the law to actually apply for all of your employees to get this benefit. Kay it is very important when you have employees, dapat you have to be covered by your health and of course SSS for your pension, for any leave or anything that inyong ma-cover no under this provision. So how important is this to implement under RTWPB requirement?
Under RTWPB, the role of RTWPB under 100361 or the Batas Kasambahay enacted way back in 2013 is limited only to wage fixing.
Okay.
So kami, magpagawas kami og increase nga suhulan or review sa suhulan sa kasambahay. So when it comes to implementations atong mga social security benefits like atong SSS, PhilHealth ug pag-ibig, i-coordinate nato sa concerned agency.
Okay.
Kay ang SSS, PhilHealth ug pag-ibig sila naslay ko galingong enforcement.
Okay, that's
power.
good.
Naslay ko galingong enforcement power to enforce sa atong mga employer nga isulod na nato ni silang atong mga katabang sa SSS, PhilHealth ug pag-ibig.
And then there were instances that an employee was apprehended, actually was served with this kaning medyo murag na siya penalty, no? Nga naraba imprisonment ani in case if you are liable na you are not contributing, especially sa mga employee for many years. Nagdaho mga empleyado nga naa ni mga contribution kanay mga deductions, and then kung magkuha na sila silang benepisyo, wala man di ay contribution. That is a very sad part to our employees nga mahitabo kanila because imagine man nimo kaltasan ang imong sweldo nga minimum pa, tapos on the same time kuhaan pa nimo og ginagmay nga mga deductions nga they can barely survive. And then, karong magsakit, kung naabay mga problema nga kinanglan sa health, dili sila makakuha because of these reasons.
Yes, that's right. Especially sa mga SSS kay maka-impose sila penalty. Even imprisonment naa sa ilahang balaod nga they can enforce that. So unta sa atong mga employer, ila nang hunahunaon nga para magyapon na sa atong mga katabang puhon nga mag-retire na sila or para pud sa PhilHealth kung masakit sila dili ta mabaguan nga kita mismo ang mo gasto kung ato silang isulo dinhi para ka manas kaayuhan sa tanan. So dili na pud ta gusto moabot ang panahon nga atong mga employer no mapugos
Will be criminals.
Yes,
and will be prosecuted.
Na amo gunay corresponding penal provision labi na sa SSS nga maka ano jud sila imprison jud sila if they exercise their power maka-imprison siya sa employer
and then it will actually destroy your record for this, and then you will not be able to apply for a business again if this happens because you have a very bad record in actually giving the services needed or this insurances that has to be contributed. And if you're not able to do this, then you will be in prison, and you don't want that. So sa ako lang paghangyo pod no sa atong mga employers karon nga nangaminaw karon, let us take care of this because this is very important for our employees, because remember, your business will not run without our employees, and our employees are the basic and vital role and tool why we have success. Now, dili sa siguro ta mahimong successful kung wala tayong mga katawhan, so that's why we have to take care of that, which is a very important, big and important thing. Now, before we leave, it's already 6 minutes before we hit the hour of 10 o'clock, and we're about to end. So, Attorney, any last words for atong mga announcements din na or mga information that we need to channel through our TV program?
Okay. Magpasalamoton mi sa Jade TV for inviting us here and to able to explain sa mga detalye sa atong ipagawas nga wage order. Sa atong mga public, please wait na sa among announcement nga among gina-post for next week sa atong mga schedule sa ato ang wage clinic. You are also free to inquire us or write us an email at the rtwpbx@gmail.com kung naamoy mga inquiry na kinahanglan ninyo pagatagaan na mo kalinawan, so you can write to us and we will reply to you. So again, I hope nga ang bagong wage order no makatabang pod sa ato ang mga workers nga dugay na pod nga nagtinguha nga masakaan ang ilahang sweldo. And also sa mga employers nato we will just pray nga ang economy continue to recover.
Right.
Okay, a lot of so mag-ingon nga they are still reeling from the effects of the pandemic, but we are very optimistic and hopeful that the economy will eventually recover. So win-win solution gihapon is both parties, for the labor and also for the capital.
Right. In the, of course, in your team that has been here, I would like to thank all of the team for RTWPB that's here with us. And of course, they were late and they've run a few minutes late. And of course, thank you very much for gracing the show and for coming. And of course, Attorney Walag, thank you very much, Attorney, for gracing the show. And of course, thank you for giving this information to all of our televiewers and to all the 80 barangays of Cagayan de Oro City, and of course, the 24 municipalities of Misamis Oriental, and for the 4 component provinces in the region of Region 10. You have given them full information about how the wage order has been implemented. And of course, everybody's eager for this change to be felt in our employees. And of course, Bernie Salinas is here with us also. Thank you very much for the RTWP. In behalf, of course, with RT Gutib, thank you very much, you guys, for coming. And I hope that I can see you soon, and we'll have more shows together. And anytime you're being welcome here in Jade TV. Now, ladies and gentlemen, time is up. We've got 3 minutes before we hit the hour of 10 o'clock. And of course, we are very pleased and would like to thank all of you who are watching the show. And of course, always remember this, that do not ask what the government can do for you, but always ask what you can do for the government. Let's help fight corruption. This has been your host, Chyrel Macale Cariaga, for the Chyrel Macale Cariaga Show. Until Saturday again, that's between 9 to 10 in the morning, only right here on Jade TV. Have a wonderful day ahead of you.